Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite game of all time, and that is Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 on the Xbox 360. I love this game. I've probably put thousands of hours into this game, or at least 1,000, maybe not thousands, but I just love it. I think it's a nearly perfect strategy game, and at the time there was very few downsides or critiques I had of this game. Now I have a few. A buddy and I have a podcast, and we talked about this game, but I just wanted to make its own dedicated video. So the Xbox 360 is my second favorite console of all time. I also made a video about that. But a lot of it, the reason that I love the Xbox 360 is the amount of strategy games on the console. Just a few of them. Of course, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth 2, but you have Universe at War, which was really good. Halo Wars, that was pretty popular. I didn't get too much into it. You got End War, and then of course Command and Conquer 3, Tiberium Wars, which was very good. I love these games. I love strategy games, and I really like them on consoles. I've made videos about that as well, but today I'm going to focus on Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. You'll be able to see some footage of me whooping medium computers, but I played random teams. The first game I played, I did 2 random, and we were the same faction, so I went ahead and restarted it, and I might show some of that too. But anyway, so some things I love about this game that kind of separates it from other strategy games. One is it's a building RTS game. Nowadays the focus seems to be more on like just controlling troops, and that's also important and fun and a big part of the game. But I like to build a base. I like base building RTS games. And this one in particular has fortresses, which is like your main building. On that building, it has a bunch of spots around the fortress where you can upgrade its defenses. You can build moats and creatures that fly above and attack. You can release like a tidal wave with the elves. You can just do all kind of cool things with the fortress. You can build multiple fortresses, which is also frustrating to play against, but fun. Another strategy of the game. You can build walls, defenses on those walls, like upgrade parts of the wall with defenses, whether it be archeries or catapults. There are so many good elements of defense in this game. You can build towers, put guys in the towers, upgrade the towers. It's just amazing. I love the base building aspect of this game. You can build anywhere, which is super important. Speaking of building anywhere, this is another game. I love the resource management in this game. A lot of games, I would say most strategy games, it has a finite number of resources available to gather. Like in the Warcraft series, the gold mines run out of gold. I just played Grimoire No More, and that would run out of gold eventually, or whatever the currency was in that game. I can't remember. But this one, for instance, the elves, you build a tree, and it slowly gathers resources. The tree levels up, and over time, it is able to gather more resources, and they never run out. The only way your resources are gonna slow down is if the enemy destroys that gathering structure. So land is super important in this game, as it is in most strategy games. But in this one, the bigger area around, the bigger percentage it's going to gather of its potential. So if you get like 100%, it may gather 100 every 5 seconds. That's just an example. But if you have 80% of that, it'll have a percentage, literally a percentage, and you might get 80 and so on and so forth. So you can't just there is a finite number you can get coming in, but it will never run out, which I really appreciate. And a lot of games are not like that, a lot of strategy games. I like the heroes in this game. So each faction, and there are six factions, I believe, and 6 factions have different heroes. For instance, the elves have like Legolas, and I can't remember all of them. But anyway, they have a lot of ranged heroes. You level up those heroes, okay? So like the heroes, they get real strong. If they die, you can, bring them back and they get more expensive. But you can, like, the elves are my favorite faction. You'll hear me talk about them a lot. But you can, like Legolas, you can run into trees and he becomes invisible and he shoots and he runs and they're fast. They definitely have some weaknesses though. But, and I'll talk about some negatives of the game, of course, because every game's going to have a few negatives. But there's a reason I love this game, and I'm going to keep talking about those reasons. So the heroes, like I said, are really, really cool. The Mordor, God, let me see if I have a list of all the factions. I don't even know if I could name them all off the top of my head. But anyway, there's some that have flying, like the dragons, the guys, gosh, in the, anyway, I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, the Lich Kings. Anyway, so they fly around. You can take the guys off the dragons. They just wreak havoc. So you'll have heroes that can fly, horseback, of course on foot. The elves have just ridiculously strong heroes with like Gimli, and he has his I guess you would call it an axe, but it's like almost like Thor's hammer, like a hammer. I guess that's what it is. But anyway, so I love the different heroes, and you make a choice because those heroes are super expensive. And do you want to build a ton of units or just a really expensive hero? You could rush with heroes. You could rush with a bunch of crappier units, kind of thing. But I love that aspect of the game. Another thing I like is that there is 6 factions. Most strategy games have 2 or 3. Two is pretty common. Warcraft, I think 1 and 2 just had 2, the orcs and the humans, and they could have added. Like this game is nearly. It came out in 2006, so it's coming up on 20 years old. And I still play this game about once a year. I just popped it in and played the footage you're going to see now. Played a skirmish, but um, so I'm going to get things wrong. It's been a long time since I've really, really got into this game, but I love it. And I'm still good enough. Like I played and beat a medium computer, on my first try. So I still remember the game. It takes me a few minutes to get, reacquainted with the controls and everything, but I understand the fundamentals of this game enough to still enjoy it. Um, but anyway, I love that there's 6 different factions. So there's 6 different strategies to learn, 6 different, different sets of units, 6 different hero units or, options for heroes. So if you're playing somebody, you have to know their faction you're playing against, what they can bring against you, what your weaknesses are. For instance, the elves are crazy. They're archers. They can upgrade their arrows to silverthorn arrows and just throw the guys back. They're super powerful, but they do not have any like flying. So they're usually I bring a lot of like for instance, they don't have I love archers, and they do. Although they do have some things that can fight, horses. They have the guys with the pikes. If you have a lot of guys coming horseback, they'll destroy you. They can take out groups and groups of archers. So you got to just know who you're going up against. Catapults can really hurt you because you have the as the elves, you have like the tree beards, and they are just not the greatest. Some of the heroes on the elves, I printed them off: Arwen, Haldir, Glorfindel, Elrond, Legolas, Galadriel, and anyway, so those are just a few. And you can have like 4 heroes all powered up to level 10 and just go crazy on some people. But having that many units or that many factions just makes it more interesting playing people online. So if they're bringing the dwarves at you, you know that they have extremely strong heroes and to watch out for this rush. Or if they are coming like with the men of the West, like the human faction, you've got to know what to expect, whether it be catapults or a lot of horseback units. It's just interesting and fun. I just love it. But anyway, so I love that there's 6 factions and that each one is so unique and has different guys like the berserkers. And anyway, I could talk about this game for hours, but I love it. I love the maps in this game. I love that like there's some maps with like built-in fortresses that you can go siege. So like there's one like 1v3 maps where somebody's in this fortress. They can put archers and up on the walls, and they have a lot of defense, fixed resources against three people that have all this land and just come at you. You can have like siege towers, and it's just so much fun. And these battles can last for hours, and I've played games that last 3 hours before. It's amazing, especially when you have a bunch of people to play with. The map designs are great. So there are naval battles, not a ton of naval units, but there's one map in particular. It's like my favorite map. It's like an L, and I think I played this map in that you're seeing. And then it has an island, and you can. I didn't do it in the footage you're going to see, but you can capture that, get a transport boat, go over to that little island. Um, there's different things you can capture, like building structures you can capture on the map to get additional resources or different powers. There's all kind of just cool aspects of this game. There's creatures on the map or enemies, like NPC enemies, that you can kill with your units to level up. Not only can your heroes level up, but your units can level up and then respawn units. Another thing I love is the units. They don't just come out in like some like games, strategy games, you'll produce like one infantry unit. This you produce like a unit that has like 8 guys in it that come out in formation. It is so cool. So there's way more people on screen, and it's just epic. Epic battles happen in this game. You have archers, you have horseback units, you have the pike guys. Some there will be berserker units, guys that carry bombs and explode. There's one thing I didn't mention in the podcast we did is there's a mode called Lord of the Ring mode, and Gollum is running around. And if you kill him, you get the one ring, you bring it back, and then you get like to your fortress, and then you can spawn like a crazy. I don't usually play that mode, and I'm not super familiar with it, but I did turn it on that. And you might hear Gollum has been whatever. So, but anyway, you can get a crazy hero. I think it's been, and you can correct me in the comments. Like I said, it's been 15 years since I've actively played this game, but I was super into it. But since then, I would say for the last, I don't know, 11, 12 years, I play it once a year. So I don't play it a ton anymore, but I still love this game. Um, what else do I love? The campaign. It has an evil and a good campaign. So with different stories and different factions you use, and they kind of work together to fight off the evil campaign. But it's really fun. I think each one has like 10 missions in it or something like that. So there's like 20 campaign missions that are like really well thought out, and a lot of fun to play. So it has skirmish mode, it has your campaign, and it had online. The online mode was epic. You could do 1v1, 2v2. So that's the max is 4 people online, 1v3, any combination of that. So me and a roommate used to play this all the time, and it was just so much fun. We just had a blast with this game. Some of these games can last hours. In fact, I like them too. I got so good at this game at one point that I would just play with the people. Like I didn't care if I won anymore. So I would beat them and just leave them alone for a while and just build a ridiculous amount of defense like around. They're surrounding them so like they couldn't expand. And I would like go get something to eat, come back, and then just beat them real quick and just irritate people. I love this game. I have to mention this. Me and my roommate used to, we call it the LNA cheat. And you could start the game if, say, one person came in against me and him are sitting there in the lobby. One guy came in and he can hear us, right? And we had this script. And what we were trying to do is get him to hit A and ready up and start the game 2v1. And it's really cheap and just juvenile, but gosh, it was so much fun. So I'm like, hey man, have you heard about this new menu that pops up if you hold left trigger and hit A? And left trigger didn't do anything in the menu. We just wanted him to hit A. And he'd be like, oh no, what does it do? I'm like, well, just hit it. And it shows a new menu with all new statistics about the guys, and it shows you new strategy, blah, blah, blah. Just go on with some nonsense. And he was like, oh, that's really neat. That's really cool. And then the guy would try it. And then as soon as we saw him ready up, we would start the game and just rush him and beat him. Oh my gosh, I got so many complaints on me. I was like, during those games. They had like player profiles on Xbox back in the day, like anyway, like your reputation. And I got suspended. I think it was for like 2 weeks or something from Xbox Live for doing that. But man, was it worth it. But that's just, I got so into this game. I love strategy games. Me and my roommate used to play like Warcraft 3, Command and Conquer Generals. So there's so many good games. Strategy games. Strategy games used to be so much more popular. Now it's just everyone that comes out is terrible and they're not popular anyway. So I just don't think developers care about them anymore. But yeah, the game, I could seriously talk about this game for hours, but I love how you can build anywhere, any structure anywhere, as long as you want to, put some units there to defend it. Land management, resource management. There's all kind of different attacks. Like there's rushes. You can play the turtle game, or sit there and just level up your guys, get a huge army going. I love it. But the game is not perfect, especially in its state today. So I'll talk about some criticisms I have of the game. One, my main criticism is the servers are shut down. So that's hard to hold against a game, but the servers are going to shut down in every game, on console especially, and it's just super disappointing. So one out of the three modes is unplayable. You can't system link this game, or I would seriously, I would like invite people over to play this game, or I will try. But yeah, like so no more online. So you're stuck with the campaign and skirmish. And once you learn the AI, they have all the way up to brutal AI difficulty, and I can beat a brutal AI pretty easily now. Because once you learn what they're programmed to do, you can beat them, pretty good. This is AI that, was coded, 15 years ago. So it's not as extensive as it is today. But that's a huge bummer, because once the servers shut down, you're just going to lose interest in it. And I did, but I still like to go on and play a skirmish from time to time. But another critique I have of the game is slowdown. So you'll notice and you'll see some stuttering for sure, especially when there's a lot going on screen. So it's hardware that maybe the Xbox 360 had like 512 megabytes of RAM or less. I'm not really sure, but it's a lot to ask of the hardware to have four people playing with 100, just all these units fighting, explosions going on. So there's a lot of stutter, and you can hear the fan going in the 360 and it's loading. So it really pushes the hardware, and so there's definitely slowdown. So keep that in mind. This game is also on PC. I've since downloaded a version of it, and you can still play it online, but it is a tiny bit different, and I'm just not as good at it. I just prefer the controller in any genre of game, and this included actually. I prefer console strategy games, as crazy as that sounds, and I know there's way more strategy games, and I don't care what you think on the computer. And I'm going to go to computer. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, there's slowdown. Another critique is they did have a map pack that came out, and playing online was sometimes annoying because they wouldn't have the map pack, that you wanted to play a new map, and not everybody. This was back when DLC was relatively new. There wasn't a ton of DLC, and this was some, and I just wish there was either no DLC or it was free, just free downloadable maps, because some people wouldn't have those maps. So that was kind of annoying. The beginning of DLC, shockingly, I still hate DLC. But this is a nearly perfect strategy game for me. I love the game. I just get nostalgia for playing it. This is one of the happiest gaming times in my whole life, with a good buddy of mine as my roommate playing this game we both loved. I love strategy games. He likes strategy games. He grew up like more Command and Conquer. I was more Warcraft, but this game is a perfect strategy game to me. I even bought a sealed version of this game. I spent too much on it, but I don't care, man. I want to have a sealed version of my favorite game of all time. And I'm always on the lookout for my next favorite game of all time. But right now, this is definitely it. Still to this day, when I pop this out, oh, here's some of the. I wrote down the units. So you have the Men of the West, the Elves, the Dwarves, Isengard, Mordor, and the Goblins. So those are just 6 different units that I did make note of, but I thought I forgot. But so many different ways to win, so many different ways to lose. And it's just epic. If you haven't tried this game, it's very hard to play now, actually. You can download, you cannot buy this game on PC. So just, that goes without saying. There's ways to get it, but it is the only way to legitimately play this game is to buy the Xbox 360 version, play it on an Xbox 360 with no online, and that's super lame. But anyway, that's all I've got for Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2, my favorite game of all time. If you've played it, let me know, and let me know if there's any new strategy games that are any good, especially on PS5. That's all I got. SirVern out.
last breath. Follow me.
The enemy is upon us! We can use the silver thorn arrows now.
We'll take.
Weapons ready.
This way. Follow me. These are their buildings. You shall not see daybreak.
Resources! Evil is upon us! There is work to be done. We need more resources. We offer foes from Lorien. I am Harrier of Lothlorien.
We must remain wary. Let's move on.
It's the enemy base.
Let's go now. Not for death.
Lorien armies, ready for battle. I shall be quick. We're finished with this structure.
Another.
They attack once more! We offer foes from Lorien.
They will not give us me. Step back.
Take them here!
We must gather our strength.
Right on the way. Asphalt, ride! Back to the castle! Evil is upon us! The Arwen has fallen!
I will be your guide. The stench of evil must end here. The beast. Once more. Another.
Lorien army, ready for battle!
Wait a moment. Step back. I will not take long.
We ride from Rivendell.
We must gather our might to protect the woods. They will not get past me. Follow me. Yes, we stench of fear must end here. The enemy is upon us. Another. Hold on! Beast. End.
I return to the Eldar Hall.
Stench of evil must end here. They will not get past me.
We bring spears from Midlum. Evil is upon us. I have building supplies. land. I have building supplies. Building supplies coming.
I will not keep falling.
We bring swords from Lorien.
Shall not see death.
We have the forged blade.
They will not get what's mine. Enter evil, my enemy.